What's up, everybody? Sean here with another Live to Roll video. This week we're going to be talking to my friend Andrew from Triumph, and we also should have Walter joining us at some point too here. And then today we also have another special day. Today is Bobby's birthday, so we're going to celebrate his birthday a little bit too today. So yeah, let's just, you guys all know me. I'm Sean, C5C6 Quad. I'll let Bobby introduce himself real quick, and then we'll let Andrew do a little introduction.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Good to see you guys again. Always great to be here with Sean. And now with our special guest, I'm Bobby Rohan. I'm a C5, C6 quadriplegic of 31 years. And I'll turn it over to my friend from Triumph Foundation, Andrew Skinner.
Well, let's get this party started off right. Let's sing happy birthday to the birthday kid. We can do it now, we'll do it later. So everybody at home, you can participate too on the count of 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear
Mr. Rohan.
Bobby.
Happy birthday
to you. I think Andrew has more singing skills than me.
And me.
We had to celebrate you though. And a shout out to Tom, because it's actually Tom's birthday on Thursday, and that's why he's not on the show, because he's out celebrating his birthday already. So we got a birthday week this week. But Tom's not going to get the song. Bobby's the special one, gets the song today. Yeah, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. Hopefully Walter will be able to join us in a little bit here too. But so like I said before, Andrew is the founder of Triumph Foundation. And Andrew and I were hurt around the same time. I was hurt a little bit before him and still doing my rehab and stuff. So we've been friends in a long time since we were both first injured. And Bobby was the person that came into both of our rooms and helped us in the beginning and kind of nudged us in the right direction. And now Andrew started Triumph kind of off of that and has taken it way further and just, done all kinds of amazing stuff with it. So, Andrew, what actually inspired you to start Triumph, or how did it get started?
Well, I came to a realization that I didn't have much of a singing career in my future. And so I needed to find something else that would be just as fulfilling and fun. And I like to say it's his fault, Bobby's fault, that he's the blame, or he should get all the credit for Triumph Foundation. Basically, in 2004, I had just graduated from college. I had landed a great job. I had met the girl of my dreams, and I was on top of the world. And I was celebrating Thanksgiving with my family up in Lake Arrowhead, and that's up in the Big Bear Mountains for people that are local to Southern California. And that week happened to be a winter wonderland, and so we spent our days building snowmen and having snowball fights and sledding and snowboarding. And so I was out front of the cabin on November 26th of 2004. My cousin Doug and I had built a little kicker jump. It wasn't anything too crazy. We were going off and just having fun. And the last time I went off it, I went off the jump. I landed on my butt and back. But when I fell, I broke my 4th, 5th, and 6th cervical vertebrae in my neck and was paralyzed instantly from the neck down. And my whole life took a radical change and started a whole new chapter of my life. So I got transferred to the closest hospital. They helicoptered me down the mountain and reconstructed my neck and diagnosed me as a quadriplegic. And I had no idea what that really meant. I had heard of a spinal cord injury once before from what happened to Christopher Reeves, but had no idea of the reality of what had just happened to me. and I was lost, and I was scared, and I was angry, and I was sad, and I was just a mess. After I spent around 3 weeks in the ICU just getting stabilized, I was transferred to Northridge Hospital, which was closer to where I lived. And that's where my journey really kind of began. Number one, I had a wonderful support from my family. Kirsten, my girlfriend, stayed by my side. I was really fortunate that she was there for me throughout it all. And almost just as important as I had guys like you, Sean, and you, Bobby, that would come visit me in my room and just gave me hope and showed me what was possible. And in the beginning, like I said, I really couldn't move a whole lot. By the time I went into rehab, I was able to shrug my shoulders. I had some movement in my biceps, and I was starting to get some wrist extension. And, wasn't really able to use my hands very well, but was inspired by watching guys like you use your hands to do things like feed yourself and drive a car and just do normal activities of daily living. And so I knew that if you could do it, I could do it too. And so I spent around 3 months in rehab. And back then I thought I was really getting the short end of the stick. I thought I was getting really, mistreated by only getting 90 days. And because Bobby would tell me how he had 6 months and other people had much longer rehab stays. But as we all find out, is you get discharged when your insurance deems you rehabilitated, which basically means your family learns how to help you, and then that means you're good to go. And so I was sent home after 90 days, which now sounds like an eternity, because I know there's a lot of guys and gals out there that are saying they only got 3 weeks or a month or wherever. But I got 90 days, and when I went home, that's when rehab really started, because that's when I was left with the decision to make. Was I going to keep pushing myself to get better, or was I going to accept that this was as good as it gets? And to make a very long story short, I made the right decision and kept pushing myself to be the best me I could possibly be, and beat my initial prognosis and started to get more and more return of function. I'm really fortunate that I did get some return of function in my lower extremities, not enough to walk and be ambulatory. But my big claim to fame is I was able to push up 80 pounds on a leg press and stand and walk a little bit with a walker in 3.5 feet of water. But that took me years to accomplish. And in those years, I also needed to figure out how to just exist. I always tell people I not only want to see them get their bodies moving again, I want to see them get their lives moving again. And so I was constantly reaching out to Bobby and Sean. It took me about a year, probably maybe a little bit more, just to get my own SHIT figured out. But after a little bit of time, I started having questions and didn't know where to turn. And I remember picking up the phone to call you guys and, hey, you remember me? It's that one guy you met, and right off the bat, what's up, Andrew? We've been thinking about you. How you been? And you guys just embraced me with open arms and were, open to having any kind of dialogue on any questions I might have. And I was just really touched by the care and compassion and support that I got from you guys and many, many others that are probably listening right now. I stand on the shoulders of giants that all helped me and inspired me. And so to keep going with the story, after I got hurt, Kirsten stayed by my side. One of the first things I wanted to do is put a ring on her finger before she smartened up and moved on. And so I tried. Yeah, I went back to work as soon as I possibly could. Prior to my injury, I was in college and doing construction work. So I was digging ditches and swinging hammers. And so after I got hurt, I like to say I got moved up to management. And so I was no longer in the field. I was moved up to project manager, and I was doing estimating and the bookkeeping and the marketing and doing the office stuff. And so I was fortunate that my body's strongest muscle, my mind, when I had invested so much into it in college, was still intact and stronger than ever. And so I was able to adapt and find a new career path, and got married around 3 years after my injury. And about that same time, I like to say, is kind of when people start looking for more, and I started to drive a car again. And I remember Bobby's not here now, but him and I met up at a Mexican restaurant and had some tacos and tequila. And he showed me his van and showed me how he transferred in. And I watched him do it a few times, and then he let me try. And I knew that it was possible. And so I got my driver's license that year and started driving again, and just started getting my life back together. And after I got married, I was doing fairly well, but this was, 2007. And for those that were around back then, in 2008, the economy crashed. And so I found myself with extra time on my hands. And I always felt kind of called to serve and to help others in the same way that Bobby and Sean were there for me. And so I started to kind of re-engage with the SEI community, and would go out and go to the support groups. And I knew how much it meant when guys like you were at those support groups. And so I tried to do my best to be there as well. And, there was an organization called Wings that was Bobby's baby, Bobby and Michelle, that they ran Wings, and it was amazing. And they did incredible things. But I also saw that there were some other things that, could be done. And after, coming home and telling Kirsten and my brother and my family about all the different things that I thought could be improved, they got tired of hearing me complain. And they said, Andrew, why don't you do something about it? And so I started Triumph Foundation late in 2008. And I made a commitment, number one, that I was going to go to every support group that met at Northridge Hospital, my local rehab. And I thought in the beginning that was going to be most of it. I was just going to make a commitment to serving people at the local rehab where I was at. And then at Christmas time, I had spent my holidays in the hospital. I got hurt in Thanksgiving, so it sucks to be in the hospital any time of the year, but especially at Christmas time. And so I decided that Christmas I was going to throw a little party for all the inpatients. And so we ordered some pizza, and I built these care baskets that were full of all sorts of sweets and presents and goodies and resources. Wings had some great fact sheets that we included. We got some information from Reeves Foundation and New Mobility Magazine and some other things, equipment catalogs that I thought these things were really instrumental in helping me, figure it out. And so we packed those, care baskets full and gave them out to all the patients at Christmas. And it was such a hit that we decided, let's do this all year long. And so Triumph Foundation really got started with just a commitment to going to the support groups consistently and delivering those care baskets to every single newly injured person that came through that hospital. And then from there, our programs kind of just expanded. And so I don't know if you guys want me just to keep going on, but slowly.
Well, you know what? Let me ask you a question. You said something about it wasn't necessarily that you didn't care about walking, you care about living. What was that deciding factor? I know a lot of us struggle with, man, I need to figure out where I can, get to that walking part. And then there's a handful of us, me included, where I just said, I don't think walking is right now really important. I think living and moving on with being as independent as possible. Was that soon after your injury, and what made you focus more on that area?
Well, I think it's just a matter of finding balance. I did rehab religiously, consistently for 8 years after I got hurt. And Bobby, I was fortunate that I did get some return of function back in my legs and was seeing some gains that not everybody gets. So I was, dead set on maximizing the amount of return of function I could possibly get. But there's more to life than walking, like you said, and there's more to life than just going to the gym and working with trainers and physical therapists. I, wanted to get out and play. I didn't want to waste today in hopes that maybe tomorrow I might be able to accomplish something. And if there's anything this injury teaches you, it's to carpe diem, seize the day, to live life now. You don't know what tomorrow might bring, and so you better get busy living. Uh, and so it just came to a point where, uh, it wasn't like I gave up by any means. In fact, the only reason I stopped doing physical therapy so consistently was basically because I got my wife knocked up and I got her pregnant, and it wasn't all about me anymore. And so I needed to work full time and provide for my family, and that meant trade-offs, and it meant that I couldn't be at the therapy sessions as often. And anyways, so I just want to encourage people out there. It doesn't have to be a one or the other.
Yeah.
And sometimes I find some people, especially people that are doing rehab for decades. It's kind of like, hey man, at a certain point, dude, you gotta just say, hey, this is who I am, and I'm gonna own it. It's not like I'm gonna stop trying to stay healthy and not stop trying to get muscle groups to wake up. But some people, sadly, sometimes feel this feeling of defeat if they hang out with other guys with the spinal cord injury, or I hate it when I hear people that say, "Oh, I'm not going to go snow skiing until I'm able to ski like I used to."
Yeah.
And it just seems like they're missing out on so much fun and so much life. So it just, it was at first in the beginning, you're just trying to figure out how not to pee and crap your pants in the first year, and trying to figure out how to do normal activities of daily living and transferring. And then the second year, you're kind of getting stabilized and start venturing out a little bit more. And I always feel like the third year is kind of where you turn that corner of, okay, I can get out in public. I can, survive. Now I want to learn how to thrive. And that's when people are usually looking for more. And so it took me about that long, about 3 or 4 years after my injury is when I started to re-engage a little bit.
Because when you first did that first care basket, how many years after your injury was that? I always have it in my head. It was about 2.5 after your.
It was 4 years. So I got hurt in 2004,
wow.
And Triumph was started in 2008. So
okay.
And
so it was a little bit.
Yeah, it took me 4 years. And so, if there's people out there that, haven't gotten reconnected with their local spinal cord injury community or even disability community, it's never too late. And we remember you, and we want you. And if you're not in our area, there's other groups that have the same heart as we do, which is we're all kind of part of this club that no one wants to join.
Yeah.
But once you're in, you're family. And so, this is a brotherhood. I've got a lot of sisters. We're all kind of grafted into this family tree. And so, anyhow, it took me 4 years to get Triumph started. And I never imagined that it was going to explode into this hurricane of care in Southern California. I just thought it was something I'd do from time to time while I was out of work. Essentially in 2008 after the economy crashed, and when I had a chance I would go visit people, and when I started Triumph I kind of created a monster, and it's been an awesome ride.
Yeah, because now, I mean, Triumph has
So
really grown so much, and it's like way more than just giving out the care baskets and or backpacks now that we've sort of, for year-round stuff, and it's just such an incredible thing for the community, I think. And that's one of the things that really, I think, just sets Triumph apart from a lot of things is just the community value of it, the family aspect. Like you said, we are a Triumph family, and you really feel that when you're in the community and at events and at things. Everybody's there and going to help you with anything. You can ask anybody about anything. And I think it's just a great thing to have for everybody. So, like, if anybody in any other communities, I don't know if we want to do that now, but we were going to talk about like what it takes to start a nonprofit and to get something like this going for people. So if you're out there in other parts of the countries and or even in the world, other countries, and you're looking just to help out a little bit, it doesn't have to start as some big foundation or anything like Andrew did. He just started making care baskets and going to support groups to give them to people. You can start small, and if it's something good, it just kind of snowballs. So
that's really true, and Triumph is way bigger than just me.
Oh yeah,
I'm the instigator, the troublemaker, the one that got it started. But I get a lot of credit for the awesome things that you guys do and our ambassadors do, and it's really just about spreading the love. And yeah, Sean. So I didn't get a big settlement. I don't have some Daddy Warbucks or rich uncle or somebody that is funding this thing. I consult with a lot of people that are interested in starting, nonprofits like us. And what I usually try to tell people is really be mission focused. If you're in it to get paid, if you're in it for, some sort of glory, or if you're trying to compete rather than complement other things that are out there, don't get in it. I just wanted to help people, and I think that really people could recognize that. And there's no egos involved. I didn't care who got the credit. I was just, hey man, I'm just here and willing to help in whatever way I could. And so our programs just kind of evolved as we met people that had different issues, and we kind of started tackling them one by one.
So you started with the care baskets, and then you saw that it's success. Was that really a nonprofit at the time? And then what made you decide to make it of a nonprofit and start this Triumph? I mean, what came, the chicken or the egg first?
Well, that's an interesting question. We were founded in 2008. I went to school and I got my degree in business. And so when I was working construction and when I transitioned to real estate, my brother and I had started a lot of different companies. We started a real estate company. We had a construction company. We had different LLCs. And so I was, kind of schooled in where do you start as far as starting an organization. And so I tell people, keep it simple. I did all the paperwork on my own as far as the starting of Triumph Foundation. I used LegalZoom.com. There's a commercial for LegalZoom, but I went on there and filled out the paperwork. It was relatively easy to do. I put everything on the back of my credit card and just went for it. But yeah, I don't know when we started. It was probably all within the same year that I started to re-engage and then started the actual organization. But again, I didn't really plan for this to become a job. In fact, I didn't. Now it's my full-time gig, but I was working at the same time for a number of years and never got a paycheck or anything out of Triumph. Probably for 4 years after we started it, we started off. Number one, just spreading community resources to people, letting them know about Wings, letting them know about the Christopher Reeves Foundation, letting them know about the paratransit systems, letting them know about all the different, community assets and things that were out there to help people. And then we'd meet people that had, issues that we could help solve. And so, I mentioned I came from a construction background, and so we would meet people and they would tell me, I can't go home. I said, well, why not? And they said, well, I've got 3 steps in front of my house. How am I ever going to get inside? And like I said, from a construction background, when I got hurt, we just took care of it. We built ramps. And so that was one of the first things that we started to do was my dad and some of the construction crew and everybody would go out to someone's home and just build a ramp for them. There you go, man. Got you access. Widening doorways, stuff like that. And then, we'd meet other people that, needed help raising money or getting some sort of equipment that wasn't being covered by insurance. And so we didn't have any money. So we'd do is, Sean needs a commode chair. We're doing a fundraiser for Sean to get his commode chair. And so we'd do some sort of, community, hey, hand out the tin can. Will you chip in? We're all going to try to raise the $200 to get Sean his shower commode chair or however much it might be. And over time, that just kind of, evolved into a grant program. And another important thing that happened too was Wings was being run by Michelle Altamirano, who I love dearly and is very much a leader in our organization. But she was, awesome. At the same time I was getting started, her daughter was getting older. And her daughter was at the end of her high school years and was thinking about going into college. And Michelle just had, almost 20 years of doing it, right, at that time.
We had about 20. And it was, Michelle, the board, we can talk about, board of directors. But our board of directors, which included me, we were getting a little burned out. And, the more Michelle was getting burned out, the more I was getting burned out. And we had a special discussion, which was a very easy discussion. And we knew exactly what was going to happen. And, you can carry on from there because I don't think I would have wanted to end it the way we did, and the way we ended Wings was the right way, and I think it was moving on with entrusting that into you, with Triumph Foundation.
Yeah, it was more of a merger. Essentially, with Wings, was thinking about changing directions or closing its doors. We had a meeting together and we said, you know what, you guys have started 5 or 6 support groups, and Wings WYNGS standed for when you need group support. So their big thing was starting support groups, and they also had a grant program too. And so I told Michelle and Bobby that we'll help keep the Wings spread, right? And we'll keep those support groups going, and I'll make a commitment to attending them and helping to facilitate them and growing leaders for them. And so we kind of inherited that. And then we also inherited a friend that was one of your benefactors. Our friend Julianne and her husband, Dan, had a family foundation that was contributing a good amount of money to help with the grant giving that you guys did. And, they kind of went to gifting and granting us those funds to help us. And that was a game changer because, like I said, we didn't have any money. And I think one of the things that's a misconception is you start a nonprofit and suddenly there's these big pools of money and grants that you can all of a sudden apply for. And sadly, and I don't know if it's necessarily sad, but a lot of grant giving organizations, they number one want to see that you're not a here today, gone tomorrow type of nonprofit, because there's a lot of those out there where people mean well, but it just, for one reason or another, they are only around for a year or two and then kind of, go away. So there's that longevity. And then a lot of times they also don't want to be the first ones in to write a grant or a check that's got more than a 0 or 2 on it. And so we were really fortunate when we got the support from the grant from the Wings that kind of legitimized us in a lot of ways. And so when we were asking for grants, we were saying, hey, you're not the first ones to jump in the pool. We've got some other people, and that enabled us to raise even more money and just connect. And then, I think a big part of a nonprofit is being a storyteller. And what are you selling? You're selling goodwill. Hey, when you make gifts to us, we will do good things for the community, and we want to share them with you. And so that was something that I got good at, was telling people about what we were doing. And so that's a little bit of background on how we kind of found our footing and got the tread going, I guess you should say, of Triumph.
Took that next step.
Got the wheels turning. That's the and then people heard about what we were doing at Northridge Hospital, and they said, "Wow, that's awesome. I wish there was something like this at the rehab I was at." And so one hospital turned into 2, turned into 3, turned into 4, turned into more. And, now Triumph goes to around 20 plus hospitals and just meets people where they're at and tries to extend these care packs, the peer mentors, and just building up the community connections. And so we've grown organically, and it's grassroots, and, we are the ones putting in the work. This isn't some pie in the sky idea. This is real lives that we're, touching. And I could keep going on that. I don't know. You guys have any other questions or?
Well, so in the sense you said it wasn't easy to start a nonprofit. Obviously I see you and what dedication you put in. What's the work behind the scenes? To keep it going and keep it running. And, you don't have to talk money, but, for the size that you have, how much dedication do you really have to put into it?
This is my life's work. And so it's my baby. And so I was doing everything from the bookkeeping in the beginning and the creation of the marketing materials to the actual boots on the ground, visiting people in the hospital. And it's a lot. Anybody that's ran a business knows that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize. And it's a labor of love. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't have made the time to do it. But I also worked off my kitchen table basically for the first decade. We only now got an actual home for Triumph outside of my living room. And so, that was the course, the trajectory that we took, which was, trying to be very frugal with our finances. And, raising money is my least favorite thing to do, but it's also a very necessary thing to do. And learning how to ask is a skill, and learning some sales. And it's not like we're selling used cars, but there is an effort of how do I get through that receptionist to talk to somebody that might be able to really lend some support. And then managing volunteers, and volunteers are our lifeblood. We have basically part-time helpers. I finally hired somebody to help me part-time about 5 years ago. So this wasn't like I had a big support staff, but I had wonderful volunteers and wonderful ambassadors like you, and people that just kind of filled in the gaps. So I put the work in, and ultimately that's what you got to do. If you're going to be in the nonprofit world, it's not something where you're going to get paid what you might make in the private market. It's something that you do because it's the right thing to do. And
starting a nonprofit's not something you want to get into for profit. If you're looking to make money, do something else. If you want to help people and help the community, then you can put in the work, and you can still, like Andrew, you can have a living and support your family and stuff, but still completely supporting this huge community and doing all the right things. So.
Yeah, and that's my goal, is to make this thing sustainable and outlast me. So, my goal is never to have the Andrew Skinner Foundation. And I've been very purposeful to try not to make it all about me. And Triumph to have its own, entity, its own movement. And so people were drawn to it that didn't always have to do with Andrew doing everything. I am the face. I do most of the stuff behind the scenes, and I get, like I said, a lot of credit that oftentimes I don't deserve, but it's bigger than me, and my hope is it'll be, here long after I'm gone. That's the real goal. So,
I know you would be doing this for free if you still had to, and putting in just much work, and that's awesome. And you do also give so many people credit. That's what I think what makes Triumph, and all of us want to be a part of Triumph, because you do recognize, and I think we all have an ownership of it, and I think that's the biggest part is community ownership in it. It's going to thrive with you, and I think it's going to make your work much more rewardable, and it's going to pay off in the end. And I think that's what we've done in Southern California, has really done just that.
Yeah, and there's no blood oath. There's no what do I got to do become a member hazing or anything. You are Triumph because you care about other people like you, and you want to see them triumph, and you want to see them succeed. And so, like I said, there's never been any egos. I have always sought to complement what's available in the community and not try to tread on anybody else's turf or toes. And, we just want to see people playing hard and having fun, maximizing their quality of life. And, we keep our hearts in the right place, and somehow, some way, God always takes care of the rest. And, like you said, it's not something that I've sought out for fame and riches. It's something that I felt like I was called to do. And right now, in this current crazy world we're living in, it's definitely difficult to be a nonprofit and surviving in this time of economic hardship. But Triumph will survive, and I tell people I'm not worried about what we'll do, because I know why we do it, and that's the most important thing, is why. And every time we meet somebody that's newly injured, every time we're able to bless somebody with some access or some sort of mobility device, every time we're able to do those kinds of things and build friendships and an inclusive community, that's where my treasures are. And so I've been really fortunate to, like I said, start something that's helped a lot of folks, and we do cool things. And so,
I was just about to ask you. Let's talk about year round. What do you do?
Exactly
for those people that don't know you, like let's hear about all the great, exciting programs we have at Triumph.
Sure. So we kind of talked about the heart and the cornerstone of Triumph Foundation is always that newly injured support. And it's just going into hospital rooms, places where people are suffering, and trying to be that light of hope to tell them that, hey, there's a life worth living for you. I know that this sucks, but it happened, and sometimes it's not what you do or what happens to you, but what you do about it. And trying to provide that education, trying to provide that hope, and then giving them the resources and the care pack. That's, there's no instruction manual on how to rebuild your life after a spinal cord injury, but we can provide that care pack, and that's like a toolkit, right? It's got all the things in there. It's got where to go, how to do it, and that connection with somebody else that's lived through a similar experience. And so that's always been the heart of Triumph in running the support groups. And I know many of you out there and a lot of people have kind of a bad connotation with support groups, thinking, oh, it's moan and groan. A bunch of people are going to sit in there and bitch about handicap parking and, all the other things that are difficult. But I like to think our support groups are more than that. And we took a term that Wings called it, which was life series groups. And so we're talking about life. And in life, you have the good and the bad and the in-between. And so during our groups, yes, we might have times where we're talking about pain and shoulder issues and pressure sores and those types of things. But it's also a place where you can come and you can share your accomplishments and, hey, I was able to stand today. Hey, I was able to transfer myself. Hey, I fed myself today. Hey, I got out of bed today. Those are all wins that need to be applauded, and we celebrate those. And then we also mix it up and just talk fantasy football. We talk, whatever activities are going on, movies, and just kind of that real life people. And right now, for anybody that's out there, all of our support groups are all on Zoom. And so there's no reason that you don't participate too. And we'd encourage you to go to our website, triumphfoundation.org. And there's a tab called programs. You hit support groups and you can sign up to be invited. We'd love to have you get connected, take advantage of this while the world is flat. You don't need to live geographically close to be connected with us. And so that's really cool. It's one of the blessings out of this COVID world we're living in right now is the virtual support group platform. And I don't think that's going to go anywhere, even after we get hopefully opened up sooner than later. The online stuff will still continue. But that's the heart, is that newly injured support and beyond, right? It's not just the newly injured, but just that support network. And we have ambassadors that are out there. We have a training where we trained 80 Pure Mentor ambassadors that do the work, that go out there and run the support groups, that visit people, that answer the phone calls, and just lend their ears and their hearts to people in need. But the second, program is our grants and equipment program. And so, we help people with grants to get critical necessary items. So if you're looking for the, super robot, remote control, this or that, like, I'd love to help you with those things. But our grant is really focused on getting someone access into their front door, right? Getting someone that first wheelchair that is going to be set up that's enable them to, be in the community, hand controls in their vehicle so that they can start returning to work or make it to therapy sessions or just, have some quality of life and come out to some events. And other things like that. But there's also like many other grants out there that do fill in the blanks that we miss, like Challenge Athletes Foundation. If you're looking for that rugby chair or hand cycle, they're probably going to provide the bulk of the funding, and then Triumph might be able to contribute, but we're not the sole benefactor in most of those situations. And other things like that. But that's our grant program. It's our Keep Moving Forward grant. And we also have an equipment repurposing program called The Exchange. And so where people have extra durable medical equipment and goods, we try to make sure they don't end up in a landfill and give them to folks that need them. Because there's a lot of extra stuff out there. I know folks, especially during this last year, have been cleaning out their closets and going through their garage, and we've been reaping the benefits of power chairs and commode chairs and cushions, and we want to give those to folks that can't afford them, and we'll put them to use. So that's kind of the second stage of our kind of circle of care. And then the third one, you want me to tell you about it, or we're going to keep going?
Let's go for it.
Where I think Sean's mom is dying.
Yeah, my mom. Tell everybody about the sports and activities.
So I think this is what really put us on the map in a lot of ways. for the community to see. Because, it's great that we're there in someone's hospital room, right? But I can't show the community that very well, right? I can't take someone into that hospital room. That's a sanctuary. And then running the support groups, that's awesome too. But again, it's, confidential, and we want to respect that privacy. But also at these support groups, you get a bunch of men and some girls. It's about 80% men that break their necks and backs. I don't know why. We tend to be a little bit more caution to the wind than hurting ourselves. But get us all in a group and you start talking and going, wouldn't it be cool if we all went hiking? Wouldn't it be cool if we just all got together and went pushing around the block? Wouldn't it be cool if we went snow skiing? Wouldn't it be cool if we played some sports? And so when we were hearing these things, it was kind of a call to action was, wouldn't it be cool if Triumph started an adaptive recreation program? And so it started off just going out to play quad rugby, which is Sean and I's passion.
Yeah.
And Bobby too. Bobby played rugby for many, many years.
Bobby's the original.
And I love it. I think it's probably the funnest game I've ever played in my life, let alone since I got hurt. And for all of you out there that might be intimidated by it, people that get knocked out of the chair make highlight reels. When you're normally playing, that is not a regular occurrence. So don't be intimidated. And those chairs that we play in are built for contact, and so it's not jarring. It's not as violent as it might seem. You're in a cockpit, and it's a very easy game, very accessible for anybody to play. And so we started with rugby, and then we got into hand cycling, and then we started taking people skiing, and we started doing more and more and more. But we've got activities normally going on almost every week and month that span the range from quad rugby and wheelchair sports to cycling to water skiing and snow skiing to taking people out to the shooting range to people doing horse and carriage driving where they're literally in a chariot and give them the reins and they have to drive a horse through an obstacle course. To all sorts of other fun stuff and just get people.
Curling. We even do curling.
Yeah,
that's right.
Curling was fun. That was fun.
Just get people.
Pros.
Okay, good.
So I think we're still
going. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'll have to see afterwards. Our activity we have going on right now, which is the 5K, which is like our bigger, kind of little bit of a fundraiser and fun activity. So I'm gonna actually hope that this doesn't freeze the computer, but I'm gonna put the flyer up so people can see. And hopefully, I think according to my YouTube thing, we're still live. So hope everybody's still watching, and we are still getting new comments, so we're good. Okay, so yeah, we got. I'll let Andrew do some of this promotion, but with the Superhero Triumph 5K, something we've done. Is this the 4th year now? The 4th annual, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it's been, because I have 3 medals, so, it's just a really fun activity. We always get together every year and do the 5K, dress up as superheroes, and just have a lot of fun. This year, obviously, we can't do the big group, 5K for COVID reasons, but we're doing it virtually, so anybody can do it. Anybody in the country, you guys can be anywhere you want. You just virtually do it, and it does really help raise money for Triumph. And it's a fun activity. It gets you out, gets you working out, gets you in the sun. So you want to fill them in a little bit more info? I got some pictures I can post up while you're talking too.
Yeah, so, we've had to make some adjustments to our plans this year, like everybody else, and we normally do our Superhero 5K in September, and obviously it wasn't possible to do it in person, so we're going to do it virtually, which basically means the race can be wherever you are, whether it's in your neighborhood, or you can go to a local park, or you can go to the beach, or on vacation, or for some of you that might want to do it on your treadmill or something like that. But you can compete wherever you are, and kind of something fun is the race starts now, so you can complete it today or tomorrow, all the way up into Halloween. And some of the fun aspects of our race is we encourage people to dress up like a superhero, and so you can break out your Batman costume or your Superman or whatever, Punisher, whatever superhero you like, and dress up and go out there and walk, run, or roll the race. And it is timed. You time it on your phone. There's an app for that, just like everything else. And then you just ask our friends that are ambulatory, people that are able to walk, to rise to the challenge. And so what that means, they sign up under the challenge, and that involves you challenging yourself to walk your furthest you can. And so you set your goal, whether it's I'm going to walk the 5K or the 10K or the 10 mile, whatever you choose, and participate. Or some of our friends, it's a win just to stand up. And so it's really meaningful when someone does the race, gets to the end and rises to the challenge, stands up at the end and crosses that finish line, or just shows everybody what they're capable of doing. And so whether it's the 5K or 5 steps, you can rise to the challenge and take some video of it. It's really meaningful. We have a lot of friends that are making better and better outcomes after a spinal cord injury. And so, we challenge you to show us what you got. Set a goal for yourself. And those are always really, really meaningful and, give you butterflies of excitement. So check it out. You can go to runtriumph.org and you can learn all about the race. And if you want to participate, it's $25. It is a fundraiser. But if you tell them that you heard about it on the Live to Roll channel, we've got some coupons that we can hook you up with. So don't let money not be be the deterrent. So if money is the issue, we can help figure that out for you. We want to see people.
And I put the sign up website right there in the chat, so everyone.
I have it in the description as well.
Copy and paste it. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's in I have both the Triumph regular website and then the Run for Triumph, the link for the 5K, both in the description. You can click on them and check them out. So, and then I was showing some pictures. I just showed a picture of like our group shot from last year, after, which is just like all of us hanging out there. And I showed Patrick walking across the line. He's one of our ambulatory guys and pushed most of it, but stood up at the end to walk across. And and we also, I got some of the kids we showed and stuff. Like fun for all the whole family, all ages. The kids always have a great time. It's a really fun event. And even if you're doing it at home, just do it with your family. Have fun.
Yeah, you can do it in small groups. We just can't do an event with a few hundred people. So some of our friends are making plans to get together this weekend or next weekend or one day in the afternoon or evening when it's a little bit cooler, and doing it together, in a group of 5 or 10 people or with their family. And so there's opportunities to do that. And then I have some friends, because it ends on Halloween night, they're going to go on kind of a marathon trick-or-treating mission, and they're going to do a 3.1 miles of door knocking for Halloween with their kids. So that's another way to do it.
We're challenging our work at Rancho for my No Barriers program. We're going to do it on Halloween Saturday and roll around the ranch. So if anyone wants to join us that day on Halloween Saturday, come and join us. And we're challenging everyone to, in groups, just come out and we're going to roll around the ranch.
Yeah, it's fun. Get outside. I mean, people right now too many of us are just looking at our TV all day, watching YouTube shows.
Yeah.
Right, Sean?
What's up
Get
with
out,
that?
push the limits of your ability, whatever that might be.
That's right, man.
And it feels good. And then you can come on here and you can show off on the YouTube channel and show us some pictures or put them up on social media and tag us. But we want, more people to have fun. And again, Triumph is not, something that you have um, to have like some sort of, oath of allegiance to. If you are out there watching this right now, you are part of our Triumph family. And so is your family and everybody. It's more of a movement, and our goal is to expand the brand into all aspects of life and all different disabilities, because I think it rings true for many different circumstances that we all face, and triumphing over them in your own way. And so, yeah, really fortunate that I got guys like you in my life, Sean and Bobby, and your families, and we're all in this together. And it's really important what you're doing on this YouTube channel to show people what's possible. I'm really proud to be part of it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really glad
Sean,
we could have you on.
Or Andrew, before we wrap up, we have a lot of people. I saw Brandon. He's on the East Coast, or for people not here in Southern California, how can they be involved in Triumph? And I know one of our projects is to grow one day and not just be in Southern California. I mean, I think that's part of our mission, and one day we would love to have it across the U.S. So, what can somebody, in another state, how can they be involved? I mean, especially I know they can be involved with this virtual run, because you don't have to be here. You can be anywhere to participate, but if you're wanting to, yeah.
So great question, and I'm glad you asked. So the first thing you can do is if you go on our website and hit us up, you can go through the Join Us page or the Contact Us page and just sign up. We can let you know what we're doing, and my hope is that you'll emulate it in some way. The biggest thing you can do is just be nice to other people with disabilities, or just be an outstanding community member and make friends. One of the best pieces of advice I got from my brother when I was first starting off in the world was be a collector of contacts and be a collector of friends. And so everybody I would meet, I would ask them for their contact information. It's good to have them connected on social media, and that's important to this day and age. But there's nothing like grabbing someone's, email, cell phone number, what have you, so that you can just stay in touch. And so be a collector of friends, and when you're out there in the community, let people know that you exist. And then as you build that Rolodex up, also be a collector of resources. And so when you learn about something cool, write it down. And it started off, Wings had put together this really wonderful one sheet that kind of had some basic resources on it, and we've just kept adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. And now it's a 100+ page book, and it's really, really focused on Southern California, but we also have Northern California resources, and many of it is applicable to anyone, doesn't matter where you live. And so I'd be happy to put that information in your hands. Another joke of ours is, if information is your drug, then we are your dealer. And so you guys got questions, you can check out our resources page on our website and see what's going on. You can contact us, and we can see if we can help answer some questions, and then start developing your own resources locally. And we'd love to tap into that. And then we're also part of United Spinal Association, and United Spinal Association is the national They're a national organization, and they really focus a lot on the advocacy politically, and going and representing us as a community. But they also created a network of nonprofits. So Triumph, there's a number of them. They're polka dotted all over the United States. that are all our own entities, but they are a great hub where you might be able to find a local organization like us near you. And they're all our friends, and helping them grow. So, before you reinvent the wheel, you might want to look into what's close to you already and see how you might be able to add to what they're doing. Wings and Triumph, we do this together. And similarly, like, if there's another organization by you, you might just say, hey, I'm interested in helping. What can I do? And if there's more than what they're willing or capable of biting off, there's opportunities to expand on that and to start your own thing. But check out what's out there already, and know that, like I said, even though Triumph right now is, mainly Southern California as far as live events, almost all of our programs are open to anybody else, anywhere, and we'll do the best we can to meet you where you're at.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think you can be also the little bit of a backbone on, hey, what can I do to put a hand cycling clinic on it in my community? And I think we're perfect time to call Triumph, ask them what they did, how they did it, and do it in your area. Challenge yourself to grow something like this. It doesn't have to be as big as Triumph, but I think if you want to make a difference in your community, that's to start with. Reach out and show what can I do in my community to make a difference. Everybody's looking for, there's nothing here. Well, you founded something where you thought there was a need, and you started and you did it.
That's right. Yeah, and when I set out to start Triumph, it wasn't, I'm going to create a region-wide support network that's going to have care baskets and support groups and grants and loan closet and recreational events and all the other things that we do. It was, I'm just going to go to the one rehab, and I'm going to try to meet every single person there. And so having some sort of specific thing that you do and have focus on, that way you're not overwhelmed. My friend Dean McCabe talks about setting goals and setting achievable goals. If you set too lofty goals, sometimes you'll never reach them. And that can be depressing. That, it feels good when you accomplish something. And so setting a goal that makes you feel good, makes you want to set more goals, and you build upon those milestones, and they can lead to some major accomplishments and movements, and develop something that's really meaningful. So one other thing I wanted to plug, because you mentioned Backbone, is my friends Backbones. Is another organization that was started by my dear friend Rebecca Torres, who started off her organization around the same time Triumph did, and they do some virtual support groups before everybody was doing virtual support groups. So Rebecca's Backbones does some wonderful things, and so if you guys are looking to get involved, check out Triumph Foundation. You can sign up for some of our support groups. They're going on almost every day, and you are invited. You can sign up for the email invite. You can check out Backbones. You can check out the United Spinal Chapters and find one that's in your area. And like Bobby said, you could start something on your own too. And it doesn't need to be moving mountains. It could be something just really simple, a niche. It doesn't even have to be its own entity or nonprofit. You could just do something because it's cool to do, fun. You enjoy it.
And I know in the chat here we got Brandon, who lives kind of far from everything. So Brandon, join us on the support group. That's something that can take place right now. And we got to get your butt out here to Southern California and get to meet you and get to be around others.
Maybe next year, get them signed up for Land Meet Sea Camp and come out for the few days, and because if you're from the country, man, to come to Southern California, spend 3 days in Long Beach in the water and on the just beach air. It's a nice few days, and we'll be there doing hand cycling and rugby. So,
and Challenge Athletes Foundation.
Oh, another good group.
Earlier, But they have a grant program, and they help not only with equipment, but they also help with trips and things. So you could apply. Their grant is open right now, challengeathletes.org. And you can apply for a grant to get you a plane ticket and lodging to come out to Southern California for Land Meet Sea or for one of Triumph's events or whatever else there might be across the country. It doesn't even have to be here in SoCal. So just think about it, man.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Well,
that's,
Andrew, thank you so much. We're getting, to that time, a little over an hour. I know we had some freezing on.
Yeah, we had a couple technical issues today, but Walter, I guess, was still having internet issues himself as well. So, but that's all right. That's cool. I think that was great information on Triumph for everybody. Hopefully, you guys watching were able to take something from it, and maybe help your own community and stuff, or reach out. And like we said, the Triumph website's in the description right now. You can click on it, visit the website, check out the support groups. Because anywhere in the country you can visit them, and if you want to just even contact me or Bobby or Andrew, we're all willing to help out and talk. So just
because that's the best way. You meet us. I got an extra room when you come out here for the Triumph Sports Weekend, Festival Weekend that we're gonna have
good
this
weekend.
Year. The last weekend of April, we're gonna have it. Come stay with me, or if you come and stay for the other sports fests that go on. And that's how you get to know us. So join us on the support group, get to learn who we are, and then hopefully we can have you here in Southern California. And anybody sitting on a couch in Southern California, we're going to be open soon, and we're going to be doing a lot of things. So join us.
That's right. We got a lot of plans, tricks up our sleeves, and keep watching Live to Roll.
Thank you. I'm going to do one last quick show of the flyer for 5K. Sign up for that too. Link is also in the description, guys. But thanks again for watching. Support Triumph Foundation if you can. Keep watching the show. If you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe. Click the like button. Comment any questions you have down below. And we will be back next week. Actually, real quick shout out before we go. In 2 weeks, Brianna, who was in the chat earlier and was on with us last week, is going to be hosting a girls only, like a women takeover show in 2 weeks. So none of us guys are going to be on it. I'm just going to be kind of in the background, and it should be a pretty fun show. Just wanted to shout that out for now to Brianna. So thanks for watching, everybody, guys.
She's a star. She's been talking about that for a while. I'm really glad you're going to do that, Sean. Good for you guys.
No, that's going to be really cool. So just wanted to shout that out. But
all right,
we'll see everybody next week. Everybody live to roll.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.